Hey guys, welcome back to Heavy Metal Rex. My name is Waze, and as you can see, I am sitting outside enjoying nice 20-degree weather, and not really wearing a whole lot, sitting on my daughter's little wooden chair because I don't have a stool or anything, but I wanted to take some time to talk about something that people have been asking me online, which is my impressions of the JB4. I've had it on the car for about, I'd say, a couple of weeks now, probably closer to a month, and I didn't want to talk about it right away because I don't think like 1 week was enough time to really make, to live with it. I've lived with it on a regular basis, just taking my kid to school, just driving around town, doing grocery shopping, all the normal things that a Subaru does. And then also going out and racing with some of my friends. And, you guys have seen the videos. I've done stock races, I've done 93 tune races, I've done the E30 stuff. And I feel like now is a good time to talk about it. Like, I feel like I have enough experience with it to give you a proper, not necessarily a review, but just like, how do I feel about it? And like, will you maybe feel the same way? So as usual, I am a big fan of writing all my ideas down on a sticky note, and I wanted to start with price. You guys have already seen the Cobb is out now. It's $725. You've seen a lot of, maybe you haven't. Like, the performance is fairly similar to what you get from the JB4. Now, I believe the base JB4 is like $580 or something like that, and you add in the Bluetooth adapter and it goes up to like $650-ish, which is, again, that's like $100 cheaper than the Cobb. But the next part is where it may deter you, is the installation. Installation of this is actually not that bad. I actually did make a whole video of it. Unfortunately, that video uploaded in 360p, and I don't have the video anymore. Actually, I think I have some clips of it, which I'm actually going to be rolling in this video so you can see. The installation was not difficult. I did talk about how it took me longer than 10 minutes to actually install the thing beginning to end, but that's because I didn't know how to route the cables. I did not know if I should go from underneath the car or from the engine bay, which I ended up having to go from underneath the car. Getting the ODB cable through the firewall was kind of a pain for me because I never ran anything through the firewall before. And I mean, those were the things that took me like a good amount of time. And I know people have mentioned in the comments, oh, well, you don't really know what you're doing, or you didn't watch any of the other videos. And I mean, I did, but anytime you're doing something for the first time, you can expect that the installation time that is quoted to you isn't always going to apply to you, or it may not necessarily apply to you. I am not, like I said, I am not all that familiar with the JB4. I'm definitely not familiar with the engine bay of this new car, and so there, it took me a bit. Now, if I had to go back and install it now, yeah, I could probably do it in about 20 minutes, which eventually I am going to be taking it off, which we'll get to that part. I could do that in 20 minutes now, especially because I have taken the bottom of the car off multiple times for a multitude of other reasons. But compare that to something like a Cobb, which is just plug and play. I mean, they both have their places. They're both not difficult. The install really wasn't that bad. My suggestion is, if you do get one, just watch as many videos as you can and maybe just have a plan before you start doing it. Which, the way that I live most of my life is I make my plan right there and then. Which, that's, not everybody does that, and that's a me problem. That may not be a you problem. The ease of use. This is, to live with on a daily basis. I had a Cobb on my 21 WRX, and it was, again, very simple. It's plug and play, and I almost kind of forget that it even exists. And I'd say for the JB4, it was pretty much the same experience. Like, most of the time I didn't really have the app running, which we'll talk about that as well. And, once I had everything dialed in, and, I did a bunch of test runs to make sure my AFRs were good, everything, the boost was good, everything was good, I kind of just forgot it was there, until I had to change a map for whatever reason, which the ease of use here is very similar to other maps. You can get a Bluetooth, or you can get an app for your phone, Android or iPhone. And if you have the Bluetooth connectivity kit, you can just connect it through your app and change the maps, view all your gauges, do whatever you need to do on that app. You can even change maps on the fly, which that actually was kind of cool, because when I was racing people, it was nice to not have to stop, install a different map in the ECU, wait, turn the car off, turn it back on, like while I was driving, as long as I was like cruising or low speed, I could just change the map. Because really what a piggyback system is doing is it's just increasing the max level of the things that the car is asking for. So it's a little different. And I didn't find it difficult at all. I had a second cell phone, just like an old used cell phone that doesn't really work, that I just had connected to Wi-Fi whenever I needed to download updates and stuff, or upload the firmware to the JB4. It was really easy to use. I know there's really nothing much else to say. It was very simple to use. The performance. This is the thing that everybody has been asking about, or if you follow the channel, you kind of already know. Stock for stock, this car is pretty good. Against many cars I've raced, it has surprised both myself and the people that I'm racing. Now with the performance, it does come with a 93 tune. It does come with an E30 tune. And it does have a couple of extra tunes where you can make some modifications. And a couple of people on YouTube have talked to me about making modifications, or doing more of a custom map on it, which I have not really delved that much into, just because I'm not super confident in my abilities to understand what it is that I'm changing. So if something happens and they're not there to help me, then I'm kind of stuck. So I haven't really messed with that, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I'm happy with the way the car runs with just as it is. The E30 performance is fantastic. I think right now the car is making somewhere around 300 or a little bit over 300 wheel horsepower and 300 wheel torque. The only way that I know that is just racing people and who have dynoed their car and knowing how much power their car makes, and that's really the comparison that I have. When I did originally install it, when I had just 93 in it, I was able to do a couple of virtual dyno runs, which were somewhere around 270-ish horsepower and like 290-ish torque, which compared to the numbers that Berger gave on their website, or even if you go to like the JB4 tech forums, is very similar. I think they quoted like 271 horse and right at 300 torque. And then with E30, it was like right at 300 wheel horsepower, 300 wheel torque. So I'm like, I feel like I'm right there. So whatever they said, I get. Now, in ethanol, lucky for me, I have like 4 stations around me, just around my house, that have ethanol, and there's tons of stations around, like when I'm driving around town, that also have access to ethanol, anywhere between like a 60-ish to 75-ish range, which is, I mean, that's pretty good. With the blend, it's not bad. Most of the gas stations I go are fairly cheap right now on premium, so I just get, right now I think the most I put in it to get the right blend was like about 6 gallons of E85 at like 70-ish, or like 69, 70, and then the remainder of 93, and I make like right at E29 usually. I don't have a flex fuel kit. I had an ethanol tester, which ended up breaking, so I ended up having to throw it away, which you can get them on Amazon for like 10 bucks. Even if you go to like AutoZone, even AutoZone has them for like $20. They're really simple. You just throw in a little bit of ethanol, fill it up with some water. There's tons of guides of that online for you to do, but for the most part, it hasn't been bad. Besides the gas mileage does suck, but if you drive a fast car, you're not really worried about gas mileage. So that part, I'm impressed. Honestly, I'm impressed with it, because if you look at the old 21, I had an intake on it, I had a J-pipe, I was making right at 290 with hard parts and an E-tune, and a cob, all that. And with this, just gas and a tune is all I've needed to make like a bit more power. And it's crazy to think. I'm actually really excited. I can't wait till I get actual hard parts on there and a Pro Tune, how much better the car is going to be. Last, just a whole retrospect, and like, should you buy it? And I feel like if you don't mind modifying your car, car's only been out 8 months. I've only had it for like, I think 2 months. Then do it. And it really doesn't hurt anything. If you just do it if you're like a weekend warrior, or even if you just want to have it all the time. The great thing is most of the time when I'm driving this car, it's at a very calm pace. I'm driving my kid to school, I'm going around town, hanging out with the family. It's a daily, right? But then when I hang out with my friends on the weekends, I have just enough to keep up with them right now. Barely even, because I mean, as you saw some of the videos, these guys they got some fast cars. Now, should you go with this over the Cobb? It's still kind of like up to you. I feel like the performance you're going to get is about the same. So really, it's your choice. I know the conversation about warranty and, you know, what happens with it, you know, which is better for warranty. To be honest, I guess the only thing I can tell you is if you're going to modify your car, you do it at your own risk. I guess you hear the anecdotal stories about, oh, well, you know, I had a Cobb on there and something blew up and, you know, they didn't really honor my warranty. Or there's been two people in our in the Subaru, the 22 Subaru Facebook group that have had issues with the JB4, or rather they've had issues with their car, removed the JB4 and took it in for service. Now, that's anecdotal. I can't confirm that. So you really just have to take it with a grain of salt. I guess if you're going to modify your car, just accept that there might be some risks. That's really all I have. I hope this information helps you guys. If you have any questions, please definitely leave me comments, and I always try to answer them as quickly as I can and as much as I can. Anyway, thank you for watching, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.